public hearing for. 5B, we need to look at approving purchase of fire equipment for the city of Nahunta Volunteer Fire Department for hoses, pipe poles, fish hooks, and other equipment. 5C, 15 sets of turnout gear that will be for Nahunta, Hoboken, and Calvary. 5D, the 50/50 grant with the Georgia Forestry Commission for a brush truck skid unit. 5F, 10-8 SCBA gear, 3 sets for Nahunta, that's through a fireworks grant.
Is that 5?
5E, I'm sorry. Yes, sir, 5E.
Is that it?
Yes, sir.
All right, we got a motion to approve the agenda with them changes.
Motion to approve the
Got a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, Mr. Kathy Wainwright. Got 5 minutes.
Good afternoon, Board of Commissioners. Thank you for letting me speak tonight. First of all, I just want to raise the demand that we have for the moratorium on the data centers. We demand a moratorium. A moratorium will give the board as well as the citizens time for some transparency. At best, the board is translucent on the data center, the direction the board is going concerning data centers. Meaning I can see the passing of the law, light, but not a clear view of what lies beyond the data centers. I need the board's help. We all need some time to make sure the majority of the citizens are represented when the board makes any decision on the data centers. A moratorium will provide much needed time to do more research. A moratorium is not pro-data center or anti-data center. It is a pause on any vote concerning data center. It is a time for transparency and building knowledge about data center. This is an extremely new concept with aggressive new expansions of the data centers. This time can be used for all of us to learn from others' mistakes or successes, or learn what impacts data centers have on other small counties such as ours. Our county is small and very unique. Doing our own impact study would be a great resource once a decision is made, if ever. There are currently several state bills being considered concerning data centers, from statewide moratoriums to repealing the huge tax exemptions for data centers, to electrical uses and infrastructure needed for the data center and everything in between. The federal is also working on bills currently considering data centers. Local governments everywhere are passing moratoriums. A moratorium on data centers in Brantley County would be a win-win for the Board of Commissioners and the people they are representing. So I'm personally asking for at least one of you to stand tonight and make a motion for a moratorium on data centers for 1 year in the upcoming public meeting held by the board this Thursday, March 5th. You will be nominated for Most Transparent Commissioner of 2026 if you can do this. If another commissioner will not make a second so that the entire board can vote their position and the position of the 3,910 citizens that each one of you represent, then any transparency with the data center is off the table. If another commissioner stands and makes a second to your motion so that a vote can be taken, then the two of you will be absolutely standing for transparency. That's all the citizens are asked for. No action on behalf of the board may be taken as an extremely closed-door government. In closing, gentlemen, please give the man some serious consideration. A moratorium does not mean we or the board are opposed or for the center. It means we all agree that taking the time to dot all our I's and cross all our T's on the data center consideration before any actions are taken. It's a win-win situation for everyone. We the people demand a moratorium on data centers. Will the board choose to represent themselves as well as the citizen make a decision that, in my opinion, is absolutely in the best interest of the majority? I believe they will. And I would also like to ask the board on the record for the minutes, if one of you would make a motion for a moratorium on data centers tonight, or at least add it to the agenda for discussion next week. Thursday, excuse me. If there can get no motion tonight, I would like to get an answer from the board as to what is the extreme urgency or need or demand for these data centers here. This is another little short demand, I'm gonna go ahead and read it too. We, the undersigned citizens of Brantley County, call on you to adopt a county moratorium on changing any law or zoning or adding the term data center in Brantley County, as well as any approval and construction of data centers. We do not want a special exception clause added to any of our current land use zones to accommodate data centers. When we change our laws, we want it to accommodate us, we the people. We the people find it extremely reasonable to demand a pause moratorium on data center. The board's extreme rush to accommodate this proposal from the Brantley County Development Partners LLC will significantly change the future of Brantley County's next generation. We know the right thing to do is to stop and any legal decisions concerning data centers or our current zoning laws. We can pick it back up at a later date after all the time and effort is put into ensuring that this is the best interest of the Brantley County people. So, what I've done in the last 12 days, I've tried to go out and get compiled signatures. These are the ones that I've got. This is a list of 493. This page has 50. This book has 158. So just real quick, want to just read some names off of here.
That's 5 minutes.
Excuse me?
5 minutes.
Can I just ask one question? I just would like to know, would you like to have a copy of these? These are, the citizens that have said they would like the moratorium?
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah, we do want to do that?
Yes.
We do want to do that?
Sure.
Can you do that?
Just leave it right here.
Okay.
Just do it.
I'm gonna leave for that tonight. Just gonna leave for this tonight.
Okay.
Well,
Some of this we might could argue about, but I'll just try to go through it as quick as I can. I'll just, various things I wanted to talk about. One of the first things I noticed on your draft about your ordinance is a closed loop system. It says chilled air that is injected into small targeted individual server racks. System restricts airflow to a small area and directs it toward the IT equipment. That's not what I get for a closed loop system. What I understand a closed loop system to be, and I Googled it before I came here, I looked again, is a completely closed system. Some of them even use glycol like antifreeze. It's not as efficient as evaporation. Supposedly evaporation is 3,000 more times efficient than removing heat with air. That and something else I noticed when the lady was here. She was an extremely likable person, but I asked her about sound and she said it would be no more than the sound of my voice. I know a little bit about internal combustion engines. I said the data center in Fayetteville, I'm not sure what size this will be. Could be upwards of 205 generators the size of boxcars. That's hard to believe that sound would be no more than that. That would take some major sound barriers to drop it down to that. And then on this second page, on these ordinances, I've got down here mentioned something about planes don't allow lithium-ion batteries in the cargo area. Remember, they started causing fires? Well, supposedly she said the backup batteries would be lithium-ion batteries. That sounds like a bad plan. Shannon Gregory's here. Some of her stuff, I think, said the same thing. I think I'm right. Yep. If I'm not, correct me, Shannon. The future of data centers. I asked the woman you had here about SMRs. I think these people need to be in on this for sure. I know some people are completely comfortable with nuclear power. I talked to one of my classmates and he said he was fine with it. And I said, well, you know, there's nothing wrong with flying either. I'm not really scared of flying, but it's the crashing part that bothers me. And that might be the case with a nuclear reactor if something goes wrong. Also, I think Shannon mentioned possible PFAS as a water source. That would have to be really looked over. That's forever chemicals that could get into our ground. I think it could get into our groundwater. If they start using that, that would have to be really sealed. Amy Sharma mentioned, the size is consideration, an area possible the size of 10 Brunswick malls. try to go through this as quick as I can, where I had a note. I didn't get to completely go through all of this, kind of late to it. She mentioned, fines for like water withdrawal, maybe $1,000 a day, but to a multi-million-dollar company, that would be peanuts. Absolutely peanuts. That might be the law, I'm not sure, but it wouldn't amount to anything. But we definitely need a well-defined definition of what a closed-loop system is, if this is something you're going through. I think this would address the water concerns that Shannon has. Trying to get all my 5 minutes in. This is just my own personal comment on the SMRs. I've got a lot more confidence in Georgia Power operating a nuclear device than I do a private company. It's just the way business is done. A lot of times corners are cut, and that might be our health for sure. Health and life, I guess you could say. And I looked this up about natural gas to see how clean it was. There's a article you could pull up. No natural gas power plants are not clean. Mark Svet, Senior Manager, Western States Energy. He's got down there main pollutants resulting from natural gas, electricity, or the greenhouse generation of nitrogen oxide from the burning of fuel, harmful effects. Well, I didn't get through. I'd like to speak again at some point. I needed to go through all of it.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Agenda items on, anybody wanna speak on anything on the agenda?
I told Shannon before, if I said anything wrong, you feel free to correct me. Did I say anything? Okay.
Okay, number one.
Hold on, if I could ask for a point of privilege. I just want to address everybody. I can appreciate why you're here tonight, and I understand concerns. I think we all do. If you look at our agenda, this is our regular business meeting, and there's nothing on here about data centers this month. And I know people are concerned that we're getting in a hurry, and we're gonna do this or that or the other. Nothing will happen, nothing, without public hearings. That will most likely be held again at the courthouse, to where everybody, any and everybody, can stand up and voice their concerns. We're not gonna run through something here real quick in a meeting that nobody's had the opportunity to be involved in. So, I mean, I appreciate everybody being here tonight, but nothing is on our agenda for any type of business whatsoever about data centers.
Seeing the amount of concern in the community, how soon would you project to have one, at least to be able to hear these concerns, so that people can share these concerns? Even if you're not on the agenda of making a decision, at least there's a forum and a place where people can share those thoughts and
Probably
concerns.
would be, I mean, we have been working on an ordinance, whether we get a data center now or 5 years down the road. I think the state is even recommending that counties that don't have them, get one just to protect yourself, so nobody just rolls in there and starts doing business. That is still being worked on. At whatever point we feel like we finally got to where we think we need to be on that draft, it would be by law, I think, required to be read at 3 different meetings. At that point, we could open it up to let people.
Again, I just think it'd be great leadership on your part to be able to have that. Obviously, there's a lot of concerns.
Yes.
So having that outlet for people to be able to raise their concerns, ask their questions that you probably don't have the answers to. We understand that, but at least then you could write the questions down, have them, and then be able to start addressing them.
Well, see, before we would ever even hold a vote, like I said, we'd have to read that 3 different times, and we could take comments from people at that point and see how they do.
I want to say though that people need to know that your voice can be heard every single chance they have a meeting, right? Is it both meetings, the public you have two different types of meetings, right?
Well, tonight is actually a work session. What
Right,
we're
you have
doing,
your work
we're
sessions.
building our agenda for
Right.
Thursday night that we will
Right.
actually vote on and do business.
Right,
And,
so your Thursday meetings, people can, like, I have a list, or if you go on your county commissioner site, people can go to the quick links and pull up your meetings and know when the date is and get into if you want to speak of something that's not, like, if you want to.
No, Thursday night, there is no public participation. This is when public participation happens,
And how often does that happen?
once a month.
Once a month, and
Once a
people
month.
can find that, but that's what I want people
Yes.
to know, once a month, they can speak
Yes.
to you about anything, come down and get your name on the agenda.
Yeah, on the work session part, that's where public
Yes.
participation is, just like Ms. Wainwright and,
Yes.
Robert did tonight. If you get on that agenda 1 week ahead of time, you can talk about why the sky's blue or the grass is green. You can talk about anything that you would like to talk about in that public participation, or anything that's on our business agenda for Thursday night. But I just want everybody to understand, nothing is happening with data centers with this meeting this week. And before anything does, there will be public hearings. So, I just wanted to make that clear.
Case number one.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Item number one is 2025 budget amendments. I provided you a list of those in your packet. The primary issue that we're dealing with on budget amendments is the increase of cost of health benefits for our employees. All of this will basically balance our budget so that the 2025 budget will be able to be presented to the auditors.
Put that on the regular agenda? Yes, sir.